Hi, in this video tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can add a comment system like this to your blog articles. I will walk you through how to set up JetReviews and how to assign this comment system as a single post template. So let's just jump into the back end of the website and let's get started. The first step we need to do is set up the post source. So to access this, you just need to go over into your Crocoblock settings, or you can go down here to JetReviews and just click on settings. And what we need to do first is assign this right here. So under JetReviews, under post source, we need to make sure that this is enabled. So by default, that should be on, but if not, you can just click that on right here. Then we're just going to go through these settings, and then I'm going to show you how to set up this review type. Then we're going to add the widget to the single post template, and then we're going to be able to actually start doing some testing really quickly. We're going to come back to this in a moment, but as of right now, you can just leave that default. And you need to figure out who do you want to be able to comment on your blog post. So probably in most cases, you want everybody to comment. So by default, guest wasn't activated, so you can go ahead and just click on here and select guest. This might, differ between your website, but if you need it to have it where it's public facing and people don't have to be logged in to leave a review or a comment, you can enable guest. And then you can go down here, you can have a different review author verification. This is all just going to be, depend on your use case. Now, I do recommend if you are going to have public facing or guest reviews, I do recommend having it where you do need to have any new reviews approved. So I would go ahead and click these all on right here. So you're going to have to actually get the admin to approve it before it goes public. If you do have public facing comments with guests and you don't have these activated, most likely you will start getting bots and spam. So it's good to just go ahead, activate this. And then if you have a website where you don't get a lot of spam or anything like that, you can turn this stuff off. But I would say by default in the beginning, keep these active. And in this tutorial, you could just leave these two unclicked. So once you do that, everything is going to save automatically. Now I'm going to show you how you can add the review types right here and assign it. Now we can add the review types, and then we're going to assign it back into where we just were. So what you need to do is go under JetReviews, Review Types. We're going to click Add New, and let's just call this JetReviews Types. Something that is easy to remember and not just the default name. So now we can go ahead and click Add New Field. And what this is whenever the user is leaving a comment, you can have it where they can rate different things. So in this case, I want to have it where they can rate the ease of use of the products or the service, pricing, features, and customer service. So we just need to go ahead and add all of those things into here, and then we're going to assign it to where we just were inside the settings right here. So the first one is ease of use. So once we put that in there, that's going to be the label. And step, you can just keep that at 1. And max value, I want to have it where it's 5 stars. So what this means is the max value is going to only be 5 stars for each one of these labels. And the user can select 1 star at a time. That's what that means. So now we can just go ahead and add the rest of them in here. So let's go ahead and do that. You just click here. Label, we're going to do pricing. Same thing, we're just going to do 1, 5. Scroll down here, we do features, 1 and 5, and the last one will be customer service, 1 and 5. That's it. So you just click the add type. That's going to now save, and you can see right here I called it Jet Review Types, and we have the fields are ease of use, pricing, features, customer service. That's it. You don't have to come back to this unless you need to change the label or anything like that. This is just a one-time thing. So now we can go back into the settings, and under post source, under post, now you're going to see that new thing that we just created called Jet Review Types. So that's it. Once you click that, you're going to see this thing pop up. Settings have been saved. Those are all the settings that we need to add for JetReviews. Now we can go into Elementor and start to design this new comment system. Here we are on the front end of a blog post, and as you can see, I just have a very simple title, Crocoblock, just got some random text in here. And now we need to add that widget down here inside the post template. And to access this, you just go into Templates, Theme Builder, and then you can click right here where it says Single Post. So what this means is all of your blog posts are now going to be assigned a template, and then we can go ahead and add the widget in there, and we just have to do it one time, and now all of your blog posts will have this new comment system built in. So you just want to keep this active at single post, and let's just call this Jet Reviews Comments, something like that. So now that's just a single post, click create template, and let's just go ahead, close this. If you are new to using this theme builder and single post templates, you can go ahead, select one of these and kind of reverse engineer it, but let's just go ahead, keep this very simple. And you can see right here that when you are inside the post template, you're going to have all of these new widgets right here. And what you do is you just click and drag all of these in, just kind of like you're building a regular page. So you can see right here, this very first widget is called the post title. And this is going to just pull in your latest blog post and just display the title. And now if we can go into the post content, just slide that underneath. So this is now displaying all of the post content right here. And this is going to be a very simple layout. I'm not going to add much more to it. Now we're going to add the JetReviews review section or comments. So you can just go ahead in your widget here and just type in reviews and pull in this one right here called reviews listing. So what this is going to do is pull in nothing right now because no reviews have been written or anything like that. So what we can do right now is actually go ahead and just hit publish. Now we need to add a condition where we have this template assigned to all single blog posts. So you could go ahead under post and just click this button right here, post all, save and close. Now if we go to the blog post that we just created, we can hit refresh. And now you're going to see this is the post title, this is the content, and now we have this right here, no reviews found, write review. This is the JetReviews comment system, and what we need to do is actually leave a comment right now and do some testing. This way we can actually design how we want it to look on the back end so it will reflect on the front end. What I recommend is going into an incognito window and leaving your first review as just a test. This way it will show up right here on the back end and we can actually start to design around how the review is going to look. Here we are in an incognito window. I'm going to just leave a test review so we can see how it's going to look on the back end. So your review, we could just put Crocoblock is great. You know, this is just a test. Great is the title. Let's do Mark Crowell. Let's just do info@wickydesign.com. And here are the review types that we added earlier. So we have ease of use, pricing, features, and customer service. So right now this is like a sliding scale. We're going to change these to stars. But let's just go ahead, keep everything at default because this is just a test. And you just click this button right here, submit a review. And now you're going to get a message saying your review must be approved by the moderator. So if you remember, that was the setting that we have where everything has to get approved. This is going to cut back on a lot of your spam. Now that we just did a test, you're going to see we have one new review underneath here. So underneath Jet Reviews, you can see we have one review pending. So we can go underneath all reviews right here. And you can see right here, it needs to be approved. So what you can go ahead is click this edit button and you can see what the title is and the content. You could always change this if you need to, if something's misspelled or anything like that. You can go ahead and change that right here and you would just click save review data. So let's go ahead and just approve this. This way we can start to design on the back end and actually have it show up. Now you can see that's been approved. And if we go back into our single post template right here, let's go ahead and just hit refresh. Now you're going to see that it's actually going to be populated on the website right here. There you go. It no longer says no reviews found, and it's pulling in the review we just left. So it's got my name, my little avatar picture here, title, here's the description. Now I'm going to go through all these different settings and show you how you can design and make this look a little bit better. The first thing we want to do is make sure that source is kept at post. In this situation, we want to always make sure that's at post. The ratings layout, you can see right here, if I change this to points, this is going to change this right here. Let's go ahead and do stars across the board so it makes it a little bit easier. So we could do stars right here, and you can see the stars are showing up. And this is a really nice feature. So they have it where you can choose between if you want to keep the average or the details. I prefer to keep the details right here so you can see this is showing all the different review types that we created earlier. This gives it a much more visual way of what the user overall has selected. But if you only have, let's say, one of these or you're not using review types at all, you can turn this off and just go to average. But in this case, let's just keep the details on. And you could, toggle on and off different things like if you want the author avatar, if you want to show the title or not show the title. And now here's the fun part is they give you all of these different options to choose your different icons throughout this whole entire widget. So you can go to town and just change out these if these stars don't look the way you want or you don't want a pencil here. You could just go ahead and start clicking on any of these things and change things out. So let's go ahead and show you that if you click on filled star icon, that's what these are right here. If for some reason you don't like that star, and let's say you wanted something like this is just an example, you can see it changes right here. Let's go back into the regular star, and they make it very easy inside this library icon. This is using a Font Awesome library icon, so you're going to have access to tons of different icons right here. And if you do want to have your own, you can always click upload, and you could do that right through here. So let's go ahead and just keep most of these at default. Close this down, and now this is also a really nice feature too, is if you don't like the way some of this text is written, you can always go ahead and change it right here. So instead of write a review, we can leave, write a review today or something, something like that. So you can see it updates. And, they give you a lot of different options right here. So I think they pretty much covered all of the different labels. So you won't have to do any sort of custom coding or anything like that. So if you have a label and you need to change it, it's all right here. So that's all the different content settings. Now underneath style is where you're going to actually go ahead and start to design how these things look. So there's a lot of different settings in here, and let's just kind of quickly go through some of these. So you can see right here, the default ones for star size is how big do you want each one of your stars to show up. So depending on your design, your layout, you could also change it depending on desktop, mobile. So that's really good options. Change the different gaps here. So whatever you think is going to look good for your design. I recommend not having them too small or too big. And I like how they give you the different options for if something's empty, if it's a low, medium color. So you can see right here, very high color, which is the 5 stars, is getting this green. So if you want to go ahead and change how this green is going to look, you could do that right here. If you have it where there's some stars missing, that's what the empty color would be. So if the user only selected 4, this one would be the gray color. So let's go ahead and actually update this right here. And let's do it where some stars are missing so we can see how it's going to visually look. Here I am in another incognito window, and let's just leave another review so we can see how it looks when the stars aren't fully active. And let's just leave some stars empty. So let's go ahead to pricing. Let's just to visually show you, you can see right here, this is how it's going to look if it's red, if it's low, and then high. So let's go ahead and let's just leave this at 1. I don't think the customer service 1, but just an example. Hit submit, and now we need to go ahead and approve that message. And we just go ahead, go into the review list, hit approve again. Let's go back into incognito, hit refresh, and let's actually leave a comment on one of these reviews. So this is just going to be a test comment, just so you can see what that looks like as well. So your comment must be approved by the moderator. So we have it where everything has to be approved. And when someone leaves a comment, you need to go underneath here, JetReviews comments. You're going to see that is the comment we just left. You can go ahead and just approve that. And let's go back and hit refresh right here and show you what a comment looks like. So this says show comment, and you can see that right here. Perfect. So now let's go ahead and start doing some more styling here, and we'll show you how you can change these different stars. So now I hit refresh on this page, and these are all the different areas that we can go ahead and start to design right here. So now we have 2 full comments, and then we have a comment that was left right here on this one. So now we can see what these stars can look like and how we can change the colors. So if we go back into star, you can see very low is this color right here. So if I wanted to change that to not so bright, you can do that right here. You have this low color, which would be this one right here, if you want to make that like a totally different color. So you could see that, depending on how many stars it is where this is going to fall right here. And you can go ahead and start to change the size of these things right here. So if you go underneath the label typography, if you want to have it where it's smaller, you can change that size right here. Now what I do recommend is doing what I just did, where have multiple comments, make sure you leave a comment on a comment, just so you can visually see how everything is going to look. So this way you could probably just design this one time and you don't have to worry about how it's going to look if someone leaves a comment down here. So just kind of play around with those settings right there. And underneath button, same thing. They have all the different sizes for your buttons. So you can see when you start to scale this stuff up, this is the size of the buttons right here. This is like the icon size. And same thing, they give you the options to change all the different icon colors. So if for some reason you don't like that blue, you can change it to, let's say, more like a green color or something like that. You can just do that right here. Label size, border, they give you a lot of good options, which is really good for this plugin. So let's go ahead and just change that off. And under pagination, if you don't see it, that's because if you go underneath content, reviews per page is at 10. So we have 2 reviews. So if we just change this to 1, you can now go ahead and see the pagination show up right here. So I do recommend, if you know you're going to have pagination on these things, go ahead and just design and make it look good right now rather than later. So you can go ahead and change anything right here. So you can change the size of the text right here. You can change the size of the icons, anything like that. They also give you background color, which I like here. So you can have a little bit of a light gray. And then they also give you the hover and the active state, tons of different options right here. So let's just go ahead, keep that on. But I'm going to change this back so we can see the other things as well. So now you know what your pagination could look like if you do need to have that active. So now we're back into here, and we can go into forms. So now forms is, if you click this button right here, this is going to be your forms. So this right here is, you can change the color of your forms. So if you go into here, if you want your text to be a different color, you can change that right here. Let's go ahead and make it like a lighter gray. And then you can see how big you want your forms to be right here. So you can change the text size right here. Let's just kind of keep that by default. And header is right here. So let's go ahead and change the color of that to like a bluish or like a purple, whatever is going to fit your branding. Let's just do this as an example. And you can see right here, if I increase this size, this is the right here where it says 2 reviews. This is how big this is going to get. So let's just go ahead and change that. They have padding, box shadow. Let's go ahead and just close that. Reviews, this one has a lot of settings in it, and it's pretty simple. You have your avatar size right here. So this is the size of the image right here. So you can see they give you the option to change how big you want it. Spacing between the avatar and this review type right here. The spacing between your titles. You can change all of this. I honestly love when plugins give you a lot of good features like this, because it can make it look very unique. And now you can go ahead and change the review gap. So if you want to have it where there's a little bit of a bigger gap, you can do that right here. Let's hit cancel on that. So this is how it's kind of looking right now on the front end. Colors are all over the place, but just wanted to do this as an example. So now if we go into here, comments is this one right here. So if you click show comments, this is why I like to do this, because you can design it all right now rather than have to worry about this later. And you can see same thing. They give you different avatar and settings just for when someone leaves a comment on a review here. And same thing, you can change how much of a gap you want between your comments. And then the last setting is miscellaneous. They give you the options to change your verify label and your typography stuff right here. But let's go ahead, hit update, and let's see how this looks on the front end now. And this is how it looks on the front end. You can see we changed all the colors here. We changed this text, the size of this. Here's the color of these stars right here. This is what it looks like when you click show comments. And now I'm going to show you a little bonus CSS trick to make it where you can have a background color for each one of these review sections. That way it just kind of separates the different reviews out. If you go ahead and add this CSS code right here, so underneath the reviews listing advanced, you could paste in this CSS code right here, and you can see I have it where you can change the background color for each of these review sections. And the way I found this code was you just need to go into your inspector inside Chrome or whatever browser you're going to be using, and just select this one right here. You could see this is called a div class JetReviews Advanced Review. This is the CSS class and we just need to target that with a background color. So that's all this code is. You could just type in selector, that class I just mentioned, background color, and then this is like that gray color. Now, if you wanted to go ahead and make this stand out a little bit more, we can even add a little padding around here and a box shadow, just so it pops out a little bit more. And to do that, you can go underneath Style and under Reviews. If you go toward the bottom, you're going to see this button right here, Review Box Shadow. So once you click that on, you can go ahead and start to change how this box shadow can look. So if you have a case where you want these to really pop out, you could do a strong box shadow like that. And then if you look underneath right here, they have the review padding. So let's go ahead and just add 20 pixels all the way around. So you could definitely see that when you add the padding, it stands out a lot more. This box shadow is a little extreme, so let's go ahead and change the opacity so it's not so dark. And let's have it where maybe it's not sticking out so much. So there you go. Let's hit update on that, and let's see how this looks on the front end now. I'll just go ahead, hit refresh, and now we should see the background color and the padding. So yeah, this stands out a lot more. So if someone clicks here, you can see that expands and that stays within this container as well. You can leave a comment, you can see how that looks. And yeah, I'm happy with how this is looking so far. If you click here, you can see we changed the size of these things right here. And this is the different colors that we assigned. Now that everything is looking good on the front end for desktop, what I do recommend is going into your mobile settings and go ahead and start to make sure that everything's going to fit well inside mobile design. And you just do that by clicking this button down here, responsive mode. And then let's just go ahead and show you underneath mobile. You can see this is how it looks on mobile. It looks okay, but we can go ahead and start to make sure that some of this text isn't so large. So we can go into something like header, and you can see that was right here. And just kind of, shrink the size of this stuff. These stars are way too big, so we can go ahead and shrink those. And, you just need to go into each one of these settings as if you were doing it on desktop, but just, on how it's going to look on mobile. Let's go ahead. You can see the spacing was a bit much between the avatar. If you need to change the size of the review types, you can always go underneath right here, ratings, label typography. You can change that right here. You just want to make sure that everything kind of fits in here. So in this case, maybe that customer service on 2 lines isn't going to work. So maybe we can go ahead and shrink that so it fits onto 1 line. So that's how you would do your mobile settings. You would just go ahead, hit update, and just test it on your mobile device inside the web browsers, things like that. And that's it for this JetReviews tutorial on how to add comments to your blog articles. Thank you for watching.